Hi everybody, it's Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company, and I am delighted to show you this project today. You know, a lot of people ask me where I get ideas, and they come from all over the place, and sometimes they happen when I'm in a quilting retreat. So my daughters and I were at a quilting retreat here not too long ago, and Sarah loves little squares. She loves postage stamps, she loves putting all that together, and she had all these little squares, so she started sewing them together. Then Natalie had the idea to add some legs onto that and make a star. So I have to show you what she's finished. Now it's not quilted, but take a look at this. I mean, this is giant and enormous. Hey, one of you guys come help me hold this up. Here, come help me hold this up really quick. This is so cute. So she put 9 of these stars together. And look how amazing it is. Isn't that so beautiful? It's so cool, huh? Don't you just love that? Anyway, I thought one of those stars, which is what she started with, thanks Misty, one of those stars would make an awesome baby quilt. So I thought if I showed you how to make one, then you could go ahead and make as many as you want. But I'm going to show you today how to make this one and make this cute little baby quilt right here behind me. So to make this quilt, you're going to need 4 strips. 4 strips only. I've got a whole jelly roll here, and I used quite a few of them because I wanted different blocks in there, but you really will have a lot. And this is Happy Day by Lori Whitlock for Riley Blake, and it's just this, it is a happy, happy little roll of fabric. And then you're going to need, for your star legs, you're going to need a ½ yard of fabric for your star legs, so a ½ yard of red, a ½ yard of white. You're going to need 3/4 of a yard for this little 5.5 inch border out there. We backed it with this same, it's called Happy Day. How can you not love this? It's Happy Day. So it's just so cute. Anyway, let me show you how to make this because this goes together really easily. So what I did was I took some random strips and sewed 4 of them together in a row. And I actually did several strips. So if you make baby quilts as often as I do, this is one of those where you'll either get one really big quilt or you'll get lots of fun little ones. So I have all these little random strip sets sewn together. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take and cut 2.5 inch segments off of here. So I've got my strips laid up nicely on my mat, so they're all going the same way. I'm going to lay my little 2.5 inch ruler on here, and it just barely fits. So we're going to cut 2.5 inch pieces like this. When you do that, you're going to put 4 of those together, and I have some together here. Here's 3 sewn together. So let's add another strip to these. Now when I sewed my strips too, I ironed all my seams going the same direction. But to be honest, it doesn't matter because if they're perfect for going this way and you decide to flip it, they're not so perfect. So what I did was, as I sewed them together, I just made one seam go one way and one seam go the other as I sewed down the side. So let's go add this last segment on here to this block. And this is a block of 4. All right, we're sewing 1/4 inch down the side. And what I do is I just I let the bottom strips go the way they want to because I can't control them as well as I can control the top ones. So I take a few stitches and I start down the side and I make sure that my next seam is nesting and one seam is going one way and one the other. Once I get over that seam, I'm going to stop and do the one following that and so on, just all the way down the strip. So now I have 4 of these sewn together. Now, I often break things up into little segments because it's easier for me to do if they're in smaller segments. So then what I did was I took and I made 4 of these, and then I sewed them together in sets of 2 like this, and then I sewed those 2s into a 4. So I'm making a giant 4 patch of all these little squares. Isn't that cute? Now the measurement you need for the legs on this is your block measurement here, and make sure you have it to the seams out. So for us on this, it makes a 9 inch, we are using a 9 inch square. And so what I've got here, let me show you, because these are just big half square triangles. So let's see, I have some fabric here. Oh, here we go. All right. So I've cut these strips, I have these strips left right here, and we're going to cut those into 9 inch squares. And so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I've stacked both of my fabrics together. And now I've got to find my rotary cutter. And yes, it was closed. All right, now we're going to turn this, and you're going to need to do this to 4 of these, okay? So then we're just going to cut these into 9-inch squares like this. And again, I'm going to line that up real nice. Got to make sure they're straight. There we go. Okay, now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Gonna put my finger there, and there we go. Okay, so now once you get 2 9-inch squares like this, you are ready to make your half square triangles. So what we're going to do then is we are going to draw a line diagonally corner to corner. I got my little friction pen here. Anytime you draw a line on on fabric for this, it really doesn't matter what you use because that line is going to be in the seam, so it won't matter. So then I'm going to lay that on my other square, and I'm going to sew 1/4 inch on either sides of this. So let's go do that. Now I'm going to swing around and catch the other side. This really is a quick little quilt. When you need a baby quilt fast, this is a fun one to do because it just looks like you worked so hard. All right, now we're cutting our half square triangles in half on the line, and we're going to press them open. There we go, and we've got one more. And I actually am going to make this seam go to the dark. Whoops, that seam rumpled a little bit right there. There we go. All right, now we want to make sure how we're going to set these that they look like legs. So we have to turn these so that the red becomes the star legs. And which means we're going to sew the white together in the middle. So we're going to lay these right on top of each other. And I like to do this to all 4 sets. You're going to make 4 sets of these for your legs. All righty, here we go. And then I'll show you how I put this together because this is really fun. All right, so here's our legs. Let's get our middle back out. And I'm actually going to press this a little bit because it was a little bit wrinkly. It had to travel from my studio over here to the filming studio, so it got a little mussed. There we go. All right, so we have our middle, and then we've got these legs. Now I've got some other legs already ready over here, and you're going to put them up to it like this. Here's some more legs. And what I like to do, whatever size your star leg ends up being, which I think ours should be, let me measure one of these to be sure. It should be like 8.5, I think. It is, it's 8.5. That's the same size your corner squares are going to be. So here's my legs, one more set. See how fast that becomes a star? So then this block is the same size as this block. So then we're going to stick one of these in here. You're going to do it on all 4 sides, like this. See how quickly that becomes a star? And it just looks great. So then what I do is I sew this row together and this row together that also has my corner squares in it. And then I sew these 2 legs to this middle, and then just sew the 3 rows together, and it comes together just like this. So you see how you've got, you know, this is 1 row, this big middle is 1 row, and this is 1 row. Then you're going to add that little 5.5-inch border on the outside, and it's just going to be darling and come together so cute. But if you want, you can go ahead and make 9 of these and get a great big quilt like Sarah's. So we hope you enjoyed this tutorial on the Baby Blocks quilt from the Missouri Star Quilt Company.